Hey, so I'm talking about the Neewer F100 7-inch film monitor, and if it's right for you. I'm in a couple groups on social media, and a lot of people have been asking about field monitors and not knowing where to start, and I think this might be the answer. The Neewer F100, you can see that. Anyway, F100 7-inch field monitor. It's what I'm using right now. It's one of two that I'm using. And it does everything that I need to do. I really love that it has a super large screen. I'm using the A7S2, in which the screen, it comes out one way, but it doesn't really go the way I want it to. So this is like the solution for me when trying to get like low to the ground shots and stuff where I can't normally see the screen. The resolution for 1080p is 1920 by 1080. So as you can see, 1280 by 800 is not quite there, but in its form factor with the size of the screen itself, you really can't tell the difference anyway. The standalone unit does not come with the battery, in which I'm using the NP F980 battery. I've gotten up to like maybe 6 or 7 hours out of it, just keep cycling it on, because it does turn off on its own whenever it's not in use. Which is another neat feature to kind of save the battery. But I've never had to shoot for like much longer than that anyway, so it does everything I need. Plus, if you have maybe a couple other batteries, it shouldn't be a problem to shoot all day on. I've done music videos, I've done some ads and commercials with it, and it seems to do exactly what I need to do. There are a couple drawbacks with it. I still think this is a great monitor to use. One of the drawbacks being that when pretty much when you first turn it on, it seems like the volume is up or something like that, and it, depending on if you have mics and other accessories, it may give some interference and kind of have this shrieking noise. Really weird stuff, but not a problem. Since then, I just turned the volume down all the way to 0. If you have headphones, plugging it into that headphone jack, the 3.5mm headphone jack, will also get it to shut up, if you will. And also you will hear the audio without interference though, so that's a good thing. Another drawback that I didn't particularly like is it has kind of a glossy screen, and it doesn't take much to really smudge. I just kind of maybe accidentally touched it a couple times and it seemed like they won't go away. I do have like lens wipes, maybe a microfiber towel or something like that. Other than that, really, it doesn't really bother me to be so glossy or anything like that. In the sunlight, it actually works pretty good. I think it's about 450 nits. It's not super bright, but it's bright enough to get whatever I need done. I hear a lot of people saying that you can't do a lot of things in direct sunlight. Well, ideally, you can control your environment whenever filming or shooting, and to get the best quality anyway. There's no exception to the rule here to where you wouldn't try to control as much as you can. I do understand that a lot of us are limited, especially some of us that are starting out, but you have to do what you can to just try to control the environment or just shoot at a different time of the day. Again, I hate being hot anyway. My hair only does so much to protect it. So the buttons, there's 9 buttons on here. They're pretty practical. It's nothing fancy, honestly. But I'm not one of those extravagant, real pinky out fellows who just need something super fancy anyway. They do exactly what I need them to do, and it's pretty straightforward. It's a menu, the arrow buttons. You can kind of customize that how you want. The only one I really care about personally is like image flip and focus assist, because I do pull focus manually. Well, depending on the situation I'm in. If I'm doing something solo where it's me by myself, I may turn it on auto. But if it's something where I can pull focus manually, it just looks better to me to go ahead and do it manually. Back on image quality, there are kind of some picture profiles, or picture modes as they call it. I try to just go to user if possible and try to calibrate to match my screen as close as possible. I'm using the A7S2, and I know how the output is going to look when I get it into editing. So I try to match it as closely as possible to that. And I recommend doing the same. That way, if you're used to using a certain camera, just get as close as you possibly can. These are pretty broad to where they don't just fit one particular camera. It's like they have to be able to be manipulated to account for all different cameras. Again, I just go to user, just kind of set it how I want it. Most of my cameras, they are pretty similar anyway. I have two A7R2s and I have no problems out of it whatsoever. With that said, it does allow for again, focus assist. There's a safe frame, pretty much where if you wanted to keep things in a certain framing, it gives you all of this real estate on the screen. But if you wanted to just kind of keep things in a safe frame to know that you have enough room when you're editing, that's what that would be for. Image flip and center marker. So when I use my gimbal, I definitely want to have my center marker on to kind of try to keep the subject centered, unless the shot is intentional where I want the subject slightly off centered or something like that. But ideally I try to keep them as centered as possible, so I can get as smooth footage as possible. Even when using the gimbal, the images can still be a little bit shaky or a little bit wobbly, so it helps there, especially when tracking and stuff like that. So it helps with being able to smooth out the image a lot easier without being so taxing on your computer. You can change the aspect ratio. That way, if you're working on a project that's specific to a specific aspect ratio, it can help you guide you to the right place. You probably can't hear, but there's a lot of sounds going on behind me, and it's crazy because I don't know what's going on back there. Somebody may be getting killed, or a lamb is probably eating a deer or something. I don't know. You can even change the transparency of the menu. So if you're looking through and you want to quickly hit the menu while you're monitoring, you can do that and still be able to see through. I personally wouldn't do it. Well, at least not if it's attached to your DSLR or mirrorless camera, because it'll just be a little bit too shaky for me. I just feel like if I'm doing that on the fly, I'm more than likely to nudge the screen while I'm filming, and it's just easier to have it off camera if possible, or just wait till I'm not filming at all to just go ahead and make those adjustments that I need. You can freeze the image to kind of keep it on screen to see that way you can assess it if you need to move the camera or move around while you have it in hand. It does not have a wireless receiver mount, which is perfectly fine. It would be something I like to see with Neewer products, because Neewer is the GOAT with making stuff that's affordable for like us beginners. With all that being said, I think this field monitor is for like beginner to intermediate filmmakers and videographers, YouTubers alike. At the price point, you definitely can't beat it. It comes in at about $110, but at $110, you definitely can't beat this monitor, especially something so large and so clear. I think it's an excellent choice. You may even find yourself with a couple more of these if you had the budget for it. I do sometimes do like a 2 or 3 camera setup, and it definitely helps with being able to see what's on what the camera's looking at instead of just placing it there. So this is perfect for me. I will post some of the links down below. That way you're able to go directly to the product and pick it up yourself. Realistically, if this helped you in any way, I'd like for you to like and subscribe. Again, I get a lot of questions from people around where I live and people that I work with on how to do specific things. And hopefully I can, take this YouTube platform and show some people some great things. Again, I'm Richard Cooper. I work with Cooper's Media Group. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Peace.